So you have a will, you've done your last will and testament, or maybe you've done a trust or some other estate planning documents, power of attorney, healthcare surrogate. How often do you need to be updating those? We get that question, all the time because, hey, you spend this money. Do I have to spend all this money again? Do I have to, how often am I going to be doing this? And usually what I tell people, listen, it's probably not going to be something that you're going to be updating every single year, probably not even every 2 years. Really when you're going to be updating these is going to depend on on major life circumstances, right? So has there been a death? Has there been a birth? Have you gotten divorced? Have you, has a relationship soured where maybe now you don't want to include that person in those documents? Those are the types of things where you might want to update your planning. Maybe you've receiving a large inheritance and now there's got to be some additional tax planning. So those are probably going to be the most major things that we're going to have to update, when we're going to have to do an update. Or obviously, our job, make sure that everything as the laws change, that your documents are still compliant with any changes in the law. But it's not going to be something where you're going to have to update it every single year, right? For the most part. The things that I see most common is maybe a married couple, maybe one of the spouses has passed away. Now, just because the spouse has passed away doesn't necessarily mean that you have to update the documents, but it might be, again, depending on when you did the documents and when the person passed away, it might be a good time to just do some updating, because most people, they do their plans as a couple, and then years later, they might need to update something. So it might coincide. It might be a good time to update them. Your kids, when you did your plan, were your kids under the age of 18 and now they're a little bit older? So some of those things that we planned for, which hopefully has not happened, both of the parents passing away, and maybe now we want to change some things, or maybe the kids are either better or worse than you thought they were when you started doing the plan. So we might want to change how they're getting the distributions, how they're going to receive any payment. Maybe we wanted to put it in trust before, and now they've shown themselves to be really responsible adults, and we don't want to put it into trust. Maybe you've gotten divorced, right? And so that's a huge thing. That we're going to definitely want to do some updating. So that might be when we want to update the plans. But for the most part, it's not going to be an annual thing. What I do recommend is if you do have an attorney, you're going to want to update him or her when these major events occur. In my office, for example, we generally do annual reviews, even if there's not going to be any updates, just to kind of check in, see if anything has happened, if we need to do anything, if we need to make any sort of changes. But major updates probably going to be every couple of years, but for the most part, just when there's major life changes.